seen it change drastically, certainly over the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years, and how it's being used, what is being portrayed on social media as individuals and as businesses. I guess the pressure for people to feel like they are portraying a perfect life, or certainly a desirable life, and the pressure that people feel to, I guess, match up to everyone else's ideals of this perfect, desirable life. I've seen some friends go into debt trying to portray this amazing person that they are, and it's so disjointed from what is reality, and it's almost like people are putting up their own smoke screens. Their lives, people are making out like everything is rosy and perfect, and they're going on holidays all the time, and going out clubbing and buying all the best things all the time, when in fact that's not reality. There's things that go on behind closed doors that people are hiding away, and I'm not saying everyone should portray like all of their bad bits and sob stories all the time, but I think it's having a healthy balance, that like real life kind of grey area at the minute. I think a lot of people are saying that everyone needs to be portraying their real selves, or to take with a pinch of salt what is being portrayed by other people, and just be mindful that everyone else is just trying to portray the best thing all the time, so we shouldn't really maybe believe in it too much, take everything with a big pinch of salt. Then at the same time, people are then still stressing about portraying their best selves and what filter they're going to use, and carefully curating their life to still be desirable. So like they understand the evils, and it's almost like they're not quite convinced themselves, or they can't quite let go and be a little bit more vulnerable, and maybe not put the perfect filter on and not Photoshop their set up to be the perfect thing. So there's a lot of talk around it, but there's not a lot of action, I would say, in people wanting to own the situation. I think people are used to being withdrawn, and I think they're used to portraying that best self online. It's, there's research out there that social interaction, we are kind of almost retreating. We're more likely to sit on our phones interacting with each other, even if we're sat next to each other, than we are to actually be present in the moment. And I think a lot of people, especially younger people, feel like they have to portray the best bits of that event rather than actually enjoying it. And I think, people are less likely to interact in social situations. They're more likely to just sit on their phone, and that people then get used to that. They get yet less used to interacting face to face, so then they do end up having social anxiety or difficulties engaging with other people. They become more and more withdrawn, and then that then is such a big catalyst for maybe not going out as much. And all of that builds up to experiencing self-doubt, self-worth issues, self-esteem issues, proper anxiety, depression, and developing really serious mental health problems. More research to be done around it. I think there's not a lot of, whilst there is a little bit of noise, I think there needs to be a lot more research done by the apps themselves, people's usage, how much time people are spending on there, and the dangers of it. I think the app developers need to take ownership of what they're doing. There's a Panorama episode about the dangers of social media, and the app developers that they interview openly say that they know what they're doing in terms of, when you're on an app and you get a notification and it's a positive thing, it releases dopamine in your brain, and that's the same chemical that's released when you have a big gambling win, or when you've got addiction problems, which is absolutely terrifying. And for app developers to openly say that they play on that and they almost actively reinforce that, that's terrifying. If there was a product out there, like say a car or a food product, that was known to be causing so much damage to so many people, it'll be recalled instantly. But because social media has now become ingrained in our society and our everyday kind of routine, and because people are profiting off it so heavily, nothing's being done about it really. So I think it has to come from the top, and also education in schools, colleges, universities, places of work. So it's kind of a two-pronged attack. People becoming more aware of the time they're spending on social media, more education programs around how to safeguard your own well-being, and that's something that I am wanting to build myself and hopefully deliver in schools as well.
Yeah.
Something I'm really passionate about.